All righty. You too. Bye.
Hey, Ben.
What's up? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Scott and I are
Nice
working on some file management kind of program for these big MP4 files.
Yes.
So that's why I'm actually recording to my computer because it's easier to manage. But I'm meeting with Scott this afternoon, but I'm not staying on the whole time today.
I love what you're doing. I love having you involved too. It's so nice to see you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It's great what you're doing too. I mean, so helpful. So helpful.
Well, that's me.
Look how you got the matching leopard. Boom.
Yep.
I love it. That's freaking killer. That is so cool.
Yeah, a friend got me this, and I love it because it's on a stretchy little, you can just pull it down, pull it up.
Man, it's
Handy.
a crazy time, isn't it? Crazy time. That's for sure.
All righty, I see Jenny. Jen.
And before we start today, there is a thunderstorm, it looks like, in Cobb County. What do we do? Could we lose connection? Like, I know,
Yeah.
I
have that same issue.
Yeah, I'm afraid my power keeps jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I'm in Cobb.
Right. I would say if you totally lose it,
Me too.
when you can get back on, say, lost connection, and you won't be counted as absent because of that. And know that we're recording and we'll have it so you can go back and watch the material. But now that y'all brought it to our attention, we'll know, that could happen. So just log back in when you can, and in the chat say, in lost power.
Thank you.
Sure.
Also, guys, you might just be able to jump on your phone, with your...
I thought about that, but then I was like, I didn't want to have two faces.
It's all right.
Well,
only if we were making calls and all that jazz.
Right.
Very cool. Well, Devin, if you're there, let's go ahead and get a screenshot. It's 102, guys. Welcome to the session today. Hope you're all doing well today. This is a very important session. It's called Sell Your Listings. And so, guys, you can get listings. You can prospect for listings. You can take listings. But if you can't sell your listings, you're wasting your time prospecting and taking listings. Okay? So we don't want to waste time, of course. Again, we're in business to make money. We're not here only because we love architecture, although we may also love architecture. We are here to help people who need help buying and selling real estate. And when we effectively do that, we get paid. So if you think about it, getting paid in this business represents that you served a noble cause in most cases, because it means that you were really able to help someone get to the next stage in their life, whether you're helping them buy or sell, or maybe you're helping them buy and sell, which is always lovely. Okay, so let's get it going, guys. Any thoughts, questions, ideas, any great results that happened yesterday as prospecting? Let's take a couple minutes and just open it up for any questions or conversation.
I had one this morning. So I was calling for sale by owners. I found him on I'm sorry, not Netflix, on Craigslist. And he, had the posting of the house. So I called the gentleman and he answered the phone. He was telling me that he kind of is in between wanting to really get the house sold because his mom lives there and it's two houses on one property. So the back house they were renting, and the renters just moved out. So he figured, well, since my renters moved out, maybe this is a good time for me to see what I can get if he posted the ad. So now he's like, well, I want to sell the house because he's trying to get another house built, but then he doesn't want to sell the house because he doesn't want people in and out of the house with COVID. He's worried that, his mom will get exposed or whatever. So the conversation went well. We talked for like 14 minutes and I was really excited, but basically I just told him, if you don't mind, I'd like to follow up with you in a couple of weeks and see, where your mind is at as far as getting the house listed with the realtor. And so he's like, yeah, call me anytime. So then a few minutes later, he texts me and he's like, bring me an offer I can't refuse. And so I just said, oh, I'd love to. I'll be in touch, with the smiley face. And he's like, I also have a property in Lawrenceville I need a contract on. I'm about 45 days from being complete with a total renovation on it. I'm asking $219,000, and he sends me a picture of the house. So I immediately called him because I'm like, so what do you mean a contract on it? Do you mean you want me to list the house? Or so now I'm kind of confused. He didn't answer the phone, but I was like,
Saturday morning. So I got Saturday morning at 11.
Hey guys, could you please mute yourself? I got somebody scheduling an appointment right now.
I got her.
so yeah.
So that sounds great. It sounds like you did a great job in making an initial contact with him. We can't be afraid to ask for the business. Remember, the reason why you're here is to provide a service to cause a solution to occur. He's got a problem, you have the solution, right? We don't need to tiptoe around that. So when you talk to this guy and you say, hey, listen, I'm in business to help people like yourself solve problems. You've got a couple houses that you need to get sold. I can help you get that done. I can get it done for you quickly. When would be a good time for us to meet, either virtually or in person, so I could go over exactly what I'm going to do to help you get your home sold? Are you open to listing the property if I can show you exactly what I do to get it sold that makes sense to you? Something like that, right? And then once you set the appointment, see, again, guys, look, there's only one reason to make a phone call. It's to set an appointment. There's only one reason to go on an appointment, and that's to get an agreement signed, okay? Y'all got me there? So when we're on the phone call, we always want to try to close for the appointment, the listing appointment. Not just a freaking coffee, I'm going to come over and hang out with you and make sure that we like each other appointment, right? The real deal listing appointment. And then once you get the listing appointment set, well, okay, fine. Great job. And at the same time, we've still got a number of things we've got to do. We're going to meet this person in person. Number one, you got to pre-qualify the listing presentation to make sure it's worth your time. And then number two, you got to send them the pre-listing package, and you got to have them answer those questions. And then once they do those things, you can go out there and it'll be easy for you to get the listing because you basically already have it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Appointments should yield listings, right?
Well, you may be going on an appointment with a buyer. You may be going on an appointment with the seller. The important thing to remember is that there's only one reason to make a phone call, and that's to schedule an appointment. And there's only one reason to go on an appointment, and that's to get a contract signed.
Hello, Ben.
Yes.
So I made a call today, and I think my error was, but it can be rectified. She's an expired, and she was on an appointment. So I was saying, okay, well, she said, I'll call you tomorrow. But I feel like I should have said to her, or I think I said to her, okay, well, can we speak tomorrow? And she said, yes, I'll call you. But I should have said, can we speak tomorrow at 10 a.m.? Correct?
you know, it's always best to try to nail down a specific time so that you can mark it down on your calendar. Again, you guys, in the beginning, it's hard to understand and it's hard to look at it this way, but you have to look at it. Okay, for example, I put people on my schedule where they belong. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't go with other people's schedules. I put people on my schedule, right? So, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean it in a very efficient way. I want to be able to serve people at the highest level possible. Therefore, my schedule is broken down into three main parts. The first part is business development, which is between 9 and noon. The second part is working on my business, which is between 12 and 3. And then the third part are appointments, and that's between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. Well, call it 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. because I'm not going on an appointment at 9, but I'd go on like a 7:30 appointment, and that might take until 9. But does that make sense? So when I'm looking at my calendar and I'm on the phone with somebody and she says, I'll call you back, I would say something like, fantastic, I look forward to that. Currently, I'm looking at my calendar, and tomorrow I have an opening at 3 o'clock, and I have another opening at 6:30. Which one of those would be best for you? I'm going to go ahead and put you down on my calendar. By the way, are you sure that you have my phone number? By the way, would you rather me give you a call? Would you prefer that we do a Zoom call? What is the nature of our call going to be about? Are you interested in listing your property? Are you interviewing listing agents?
Well, it was interviewing. It was interviewing. I did say that to her, like, are you interviewing? And she said, yes. I said, well, I would like to have an interview. And she said, okay, great. Yeah.
And another way to say that is I would love to apply for the job of selling your home.
Okay.
That's a great way to say that. I would love to apply for the job of selling your home.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Love that line all day long.
Good.
Because it makes them feel good.
That's exactly right. It's all about them, guys. I mean, you know, you have to realize that they're the boss. I mean, if they hire you, you work for them as far as that particular deal is concerned, right? But I mean, you want to make them feel like they're making a good decision in hiring you. Any other thoughts? Those are both great job to both of you. And anybody else? Any thoughts, questions, even failures, guys? Hey, you know, we've got to talk about our failures. We've got to talk about when we get hung up on. We got to talk about when people are rude to us. We got to talk about those kinds of things, because the truth is you're going to get more rejection than you get acceptance. And so we have to talk about that so that we can learn how to deal with it.
I have some things I do want to share. So I had open house this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, and I promoted it. I did a bunch of outreach on it, and nobody showed. So I kind of was like discouraged, but then I was like, you know, I'm sure it happens. Maybe because the home was located on a busy street. You know, Saturday the sky opened up and fell, but I didn't let it deter me. So I decided, you know, I'm going to just keep pushing. And the listing agent, you know, she came up with a plan for us to, you know, go scour the neighborhood and hand out flyers. So that's going to be our next goal, to get the promotions out there for that home. But
Right.
Good things that came out of it is that I got 3 leads from my Facebook ad. So I'm following up on those leads. I talked to the guy this morning. He's at the dentist, so he told me to give him a call back later on. So I'm working those leads and those angles and still continuing to reach out to people and respond to inquiries. But I got discouraged for a split second, and then I was like, you know what? I'm sure I'm not the only person this has happened to. Just, you know, keep pushing, and maybe next time you'll get positive results, but don't give up.
Yeah, I appreciate that story. Thank you for sharing that, LaQuisha. You know, the interesting thing is that many times open houses are going to yield absolutely nothing. In many cases, they're going to yield no response. Nobody's going to show up, and then out of nowhere, you know, I mean, I've had stints where I'll go and I might do 5 open houses over 5 weeks and nobody shows up. And it's like, you know, I go home and my wife's like, how'd it go? And I'm like, nobody showed. And, you know, I spent all this time preparing and putting signs out and doing balloons and flyers and everything else. And then all of a sudden, the next open house I hold, somebody walks in and they say, hey, this isn't the house for us, but we're not represented by anybody. You seem like you know what you're talking about. Would you be open to representing us on the purchase of our home? I cannot tell you how many times that's happened to me. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you guys a great story. You want to hear a story?
Yes.
Story time.
Yes.
Ben, story time. All right. I wish we had like a fire and some hot chocolate.
I started to give you like a Slick Rick intro. I'm like, here we go.
Here we go. Boom. Ben, story time. Yeah. So I've got a great story for you guys. And this is a story about prospecting. This just wraps up a lot of different things, right? So I was calling. So I've got some areas of town that I work. And one of the neighborhoods, specifically neighborhoods that I work, one of the neighborhoods that I work had a for sale by owner sign pop up. And when that happens, you know, it's just to me, it's like an invitation to come and introduce myself at a minimum. So I went and introduced myself, and I talked to these people. And you guys have to remember, when you're dealing with a for sale by owner, you know, these people already have it in their mind that they're not paying a real estate agent. So anyways, it took me about a month to a month and a half of, you know, communicating with these people every single week. But finally they called me and they said, hey, Ben, you know, we're just kind of tired of doing this and dealing with this. Would you take a 30-day listing agreement? Like, we really like you, but we don't want to waste our time. Would you take a 30-day listing agreement? And I said, I'll take a 30-day listing agreement only if you'll allow me to hold the house open Saturday and Sunday for 4 weeks straight. And I'm going to get it sold doing that. And they were like, wow, you do that? I said, guys, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get this home sold, and I'm willing to work for it. They said, yeah, let's do it. So I went over there, just as we discussed, 30-day listing agreement, 6%, right? This was a $980,000 house. And so got it signed, and that was like on a Wednesday, boom. Held it open Saturday, held it open Sunday, nothing. Next week, held it open Saturday, held it open Sunday, nothing. Boom, next week, held it open Saturday. Well, this is in Buckhead, and it's close to a lot of the buildings. So it's a residential neighborhood that's like kind of borders like the main Peachtree Road and stuff. So there's buildings, condos and stuff right there. And a couple, a married couple who own the penthouse at the Realm. One of the Realm building has 4 penthouses. They own one of them, actually one of the nicer ones. They just happened to be walking through the neighborhood because they walked in this neighborhood on the weekends, and they saw we had an open house. So they walked into the open house, and they were newlyweds, and he was older and she was younger, you know, but they're a great couple. Actually, I'm friends with them now. And they were like, they walked in the house and they go, oh my God, this is perfect. We don't even want a house, but we want this house. And I said, really? And they said, no, seriously, we're going to buy this house. And I said, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Would you like me to, you know, write up like, what are you talking about? And they said, no, seriously, we're cash buyers. We've got the money to do it. Do you have a contract on you? And I said, yeah, I do. Because I always carry a blank contract and a blank listing agreement with me everywhere I go. You guys should do that too. Blank contract, blank listing agreement. Always be ready, right? I said, yeah, actually I do. So I pulled out this nasty, you know, it was like kind of all beat up because it'd been in my bag. And I said, you know, I'm always ready. And they said, okay, cool. So literally we sat there right there and wrote an offer at the house. And they said, oh, by the way, you know, you seem like you really know what you're doing. And we've seen the open house here. And, you know, we want somebody to hold open houses every weekend too. If we list our condo with you, would you be willing to work it just like you've worked this one? I said, yeah, this is how I do business. I work 7 days a week. I hold open houses every Saturday and Sunday. And so they said, okay, cool. And so they said, well, once we get this under contract, we want to invite you to sold. So we write the contract, right? I get it under contract. Then I go to their condo. It's the penthouse. I mean, it's this huge, freaking unbelievable condo. Okay. And I walk in there, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. And so I sat down, I'd done the pre-qualification and everything. I had the comps. We reviewed the comps. We agreed upon a price. They signed the listing agreement. I was like, yes, right? And so I already had the other house under contract. So then, that following weekend, there I was sitting at the penthouse, right? And Saturday, Sunday, nothing happened. Saturday, Sunday, nothing happened. Saturday, Sunday, this older couple walks in. And they said, we really like this place. I think we want to buy it. We're cash buyers, and we want to make a very competitive offer. And, we've seen you here a couple weekends in a row. That's the kind of person that we want selling our home. And we're interviewing a few people, but we're wondering if you might be interested in potentially listing our home. It's in Brookhaven. And I was like, sure, I guess.
Then just shut up. I've heard enough of this.
I said, absolutely. And I swear it's a true story. And so anyways, they said, well, we're interviewing other agents, but you come over. So anyway, we negotiated the contract. I didn't write it up right there, but I sent it to them, and we got it under contract. And then the next week I went and sat down and I met with them. And I was up against some pretty big agents, and they called me back a couple days later and they said, Ben, we've decided to hire you. We really like you, and we like your style, and we would love to work with you in getting our home sold. And so I listed their home. I held open houses every week, and I didn't get another sale off of that one, but I did sell that home. Now I want to do some math with you guys real quick. Okay. So I got 6% on the 980. I got 6% on 700, which is what we listed the condo for. And then I got 3% on 850, which is what we listed that house for. So if we're adding up total volume, you go 980 times 2, that's 1.9, right? You go 700 times 2, that's 1.4. So 1.9 plus 1.4 is like 3 million or something, right? 3.3 plus 850. Guys, off of one open house in about 60 days, I did $4 million and like 5 sides and made like $150,000. That was from one for sale by owner.
It's a unicorn.
One for sale by owner, guys. And guys, stuff like this happens all the time. It happens all the time, and it will continue to happen to you. And that's what I mean. Like, I could tell you guys stories like that all day, because the truth is there are people out there that need professional help. They need help, but they don't trust just anybody with a real estate license. They want to see you out there working. When you call them on the phone, they want to hear someone that is so professional that they're just like, oh my God, that was like the most professional realtor I've ever heard from. Call them back, right? That's why I pound so much script internalization, professionalism in the way that you speak. I hired a voice coach in my second year in business because I wanted to be able to speak professionally. So I learned about voice tone and inflection, right? When you do an upward inflection, that sounds like you're unsure. When you do a downward tone, now you're more confident, right? So maybe if you're asking an expired listing who was overpriced, something like, so how did you come up with your last price? Right? How did you come up with that price? Because the price was too high, okay? versus I know what it's going to take I know what it's going to take to get your home sold. That inspires confidence, right? So that's not something I can explain to you guys in 3 hours. That's something you're going to really have to focus on, but study, focus, think about your voice. Think about how do you sound? How do you feel? How does it feel when someone, are you just another blah, blah, blah? You know, you're just another script reader? Or are you going to come through powerful? You want to be powerful in your delivery, guys. Why hold open houses just Saturday? Hold them Saturday and Sunday, and door knock, and pass flyers out, and put balloons out, and cold call the neighborhood while you're sitting there in the open house waiting for someone to show up. And that's something that I would say to the great woman who I was talking to. Sorry, I forgot your name already. I'm weird with that. Hey, you sitting at an open house for 2-3 hours? Guess what? Sit there and schedule a listing appointment. Make some calls. Hit expireds, hit FSBOs, call the neighborhood. Hey, it's Ben Heidenreich. I'm down the street holding an open house at 123 ABC Street. Just wanted to invite you guys to come by. Hey, by the way, when do you plan on moving? People want someone, listen, aggressive is often a misused term, okay? Aggressive isn't bad. Aggressive isn't rude. Aggressive isn't overly confident. Aggressive is if you need somebody to get the job done for you and get it done right, I'm that person. If you need somebody to get the job done for you and to get it done right, I'm that person. I can do that for you. I'm committed. 100% committed. You can see it in the way I dress. You can see it in the way I talk. You can see it in the way my business card looks. You can see it in the way I drive up to present myself. My car is always clean. My shoes are always shined. I want to outshine everybody that you meet with. I want to be the most professional call that you get all day. I want to hold the best open house that you've ever thought about, right? I want to take everything to the next level. Because guys, your competition's not doing it like that. Your competition's lazy. Your competition doesn't want to work. Your competition wants to hang out at the house. I don't want to hang out at the house. I want to hang out at your house, okay?
Hey, Ben, can you talk about how to pre-qualify? Like, what are some of the pre-qualifying questions you would have when you make that listing appointment call?
Sure, yeah, we reviewed it yesterday. There's a pre-qualification script that we reviewed yesterday, and it's in the material, so you might want to look back at that. But some of the questions that I'm going to ask, the first question I always ask is I'd say, hey, I look forward to coming over tomorrow at 3 p.m. Is that still a good time for you? And they say, yes. And I say, okay, great. Well, listen, I'm really looking forward to it. I have a few questions to ask you before I come over. Can I go ahead and ask them now? What are they going to say? Yes, right? So I'm going in off the bat, I'm asking 2 yes questions, right? And then I say, hey, if everything I say makes sense when I come over tomorrow and you feel comfortable and confident in my ability to get your home on the market and get it sold, are you planning to go ahead and hire me when I come over tomorrow? And then they say, typically what they say, guys, is they typically say, well, I'm really not prepared to commit to that at this moment in time. And I say something like, I completely understand that. I guess a better way to ask the question is, if you feel like I'm the right person for you to hire, are you going to be prepared to do that tomorrow when we meet? And then they might say something like, well, no, because, my wife needs to be here. And then I'll say, oh, well, let's reschedule for your wife is there, right? Or they might say yes. And I'll say, okay, lovely. And I proceed with the questions. And my next question is, are you interviewing other agents for the job? Am I the only one that you're interviewing, or are you interviewing other people? And typically they say, no, we're interviewing other people. And then I'll say, great. So tell me, when we meet tomorrow, how much do you want to list your home for? And they typically say something like, well, that's kind of what we'd be looking for you to tell us. You know, we're looking for your professional opinion. And then I say, great, because as a professional real estate salesperson, I study homes and prices in your neighborhood every day. And I know the right price for your home. I know the price it's going to cause it to sell. What price won't you go below? And then they tell me what price they won't go below. Or they say, we're not going to tell you that. Okay, I don't really care. That's fine. But if they tell me what price they won't go below, guys, guess where I'm trying to list the house? Somewhere around that price, because it's probably the right price. Okay, but who knows? You got to do the research. Then the next question I ask is, how much do you owe on the property? And most of the time they'll say, well, we owe 200. If they have good equity, they'll tell you because they're bragging about it. They're proud of it. Okay. And if it's kind of a tight situation, they'll say something like, I don't feel comfortable telling you that right now. And then you could say, okay, that's completely fine. My only concern is, do you have enough equity to sell the home, to pay the commissions required and potentially closing costs required? Do you have enough equity to do that? And they'll say, yeah, we have enough equity to do that. Or then they'll say something like, well, we have a problem with the commission. We're not paying, whatever. So the idea with the pre-qualification call, guys, is to bring out objections. That's why I'm asking tough questions, okay? I don't want to talk about this when we're sitting at the dinner table. I want to talk about it now, before I get over there. And then I say, hey, I'm going to email you a package of information. I call it the pre-listing package. Would you mind taking a moment to read through and answer a few questions at the end? It's really going to help me understand more about how I can help you. If you could get it back to me before our appointment, that'd be great. But at any rate, if you have it at the appointment, I can just read through it then, and I would greatly appreciate it. Would you mind doing that? And so if you say, no, we don't mind doing that at all. And you say, okay, great. And then you say, wonderful. So just so you know, when I come over tomorrow, I'm going to be bringing a listing agreement, a seller's property disclosure, a community association disclosure, a lead-based paint agreement, a legal description of your property, the tax records, my listing plan of action, and maybe I'll bring a few marketing samples as well so you can see what I do to get listings sold. Is that going to be okay? And they'll go, wow, yeah, I guess so. You say, okay, great. I just wanted to prepare you for what I'm going to be bringing with me. You don't have to sign anything. But I'll be bringing all the information so that if you decide that you want to hire me, we can go ahead and do it at that point in time. So I get through the pre-qualification call. I send the pre-listing package, and then I show up for the listing appointment. Guys, I've gotten to listing appointments before, and they say, we just want to know your price. And I say, okay, well, let's talk about it. Here's the comparative market analysis. And no, I don't want to look at that. I want to know what it's going to take to get it sold. So the price is $349.9. They say, great, where's the listing agreement? I'm like, you just want to, oh, okay. And they're like, listen, just so you understand, that was the most professional process that we have seen from a real estate person. Based upon the work that you did before we even sat down, we know that you're the person that we want to represent us in the sale of our home. Thank you for being so thorough. Sign up. Thank you very much. See you later. My transaction coordinator will be in contact. I'll get the sign in the yard. We'll get the lockbox on the property. We'll get the photographer out here, and we'll get the property listed on the market ASAP. I have friends who have gone over and the listing paperwork's already signed. They put it out the door, right? So you guys have to realize that that's just part of the business. What are your thoughts on?
I gotta tell you, that story that Ben just told, that is exactly what you want to do. You want to bowl them over with your professionalism. You have got this. You know all the forms. You gonna get the legal description in advance on your own. You show up, and if you're fortunate enough and they say, yep, tell us the price, you know, where do we sign? Shut up. Don't keep talking.
Yeah,
Right, Ben? You
absolutely.
you just,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
that call before can absolutely seal the deal. So
Yeah.
I hope everybody's paying attention.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so true. And the truth is that it's a very difficult call to make. We don't naturally feel this way, guys. I mean, it takes courage to make these calls, okay? It takes courage to make these calls, but what are we talking about? I mean, you have to think about the amount of money that the seller is getting ready to write you a check for when they sign that listing agreement. $500,000 house, what's 6%? $30,000. Now, you're going to pay the other half to the other broker, maybe, or maybe you get an unrepresented buyer and you get paid the whole thing. The point is that they sign that they're going to pay you or you and someone else a total of $30,000. Now, if you're writing a check for $30,000 to someone, how do you want to be represented? You want buddy, yo, what's up, dog? How you doing, bro? Yeah, cool, man. Nice house, nice carpet. Or do you want a level of professionalism that supersedes that, where you feel confident in the person's ability to get your home sold? What questions do you guys have?
So when you got to the house and you presenting your CMA, let's say they didn't, decide to sign up right as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah, and by the way,
Presenting your CMA.
That happens every now and then if you really work hard and if you really get good. Every now and then you'll get one of those. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to let you know that's that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, pie in the sky. But so you get there and you're doing your CMA, right? What point do you start talking about the prices? Do you wait to the end, or I mean, do you walk through the house and then you go through like your CME presentation and then you talk about your pricing strategy? How do you handle your whole walk in the door thing?
So I'll tell you my whole listing presentation right now. You guys ready? It'll take about 5 minutes. So I get there, right? I show up 15 minutes early, but I don't get out of my car until 5 minutes before. What am I doing in my car for 10 minutes? I am reviewing all of the documentation that I have. What do I have? I have the listing agreement. I'm making sure it's all there. I'm making sure all my documents are there and in order. I like to use paper clips, not staples, okay? Because I like to be able to put the documents in front of people. So I make sure everything is organized. I also review the tax record of the home so that I know the square footage of the home, so that I understand the intricacies of the property as it pertains to the tax records. When they bought it, how much they paid for it, for example, can tell you a lot about equity, whether or not they've refinanced it. You need to know these things, right? Then I review the comparative market analysis so I can make sure that I sound like an expert, that I understand the level. Guys, I'm an expert on your neighborhood by the time I show up for a listing appointment. Expert level, okay? And as a matter of fact, I may have parked my car in front of the house 15 minutes early, but if I have time, I'm going to literally go and preview as many listings in that neighborhood as I possibly can. And at a minimum, I will drive by all of the listings in the neighborhood, okay? And I'll probably have a printout of each one so that I can look at them, so that I can familiarize myself with the properties. Oh yeah, I know that property. Yeah, that's a nice one, but the thing is, it backs up to the power lines. How would I know that? How would I know that? Okay, so anyways, I get there 15 minutes early. I review my documentation for 10 minutes. I turn my car off. I get out of the car. Before I get out of the car, I typically close my eyes and I do a little prayer, okay? And my little prayer is to myself, it's to the universe, it's to whoever, right? Whoever it is. I'm not telling you to be a Christian or a Muslim or anything. I'm just, you know, I focus, right? And I say to myself, I say, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do the best I absolutely can. And they are going to realize that I am the right person for the job of getting their home sold. I'm going to take this listing today and I'm going to do a great job for them. I'm going to get the home sold for them. I'll say something like that to myself, little pep talk, right? Then I get out of the car. I go up to the door. I got my shirt, collared shirts with a jacket. I'm typically in a suit if you guys have seen me. Okay, and I knock on the door. Boom, 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 right? They answer the door. I say, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ben Heidenreich. I look forward to getting your home on the market and getting it sold. I say that enthusiastically. They say, hey, Ben, good to see you. So they welcome me in the door typically. And then I say, do you mind if I take a quick look around the home? And they say, sure. Do you mind if we show you around the home? And I say, honestly, I would appreciate it, but I like to look at the home through the eyes of the buyer. It'll only take me a couple minutes. Would it be okay if we meet back in the dining room or the kitchen, or where would you like me to meet you back? Oh, no problem. Well, you know, go ahead. We'll meet you back in the kitchen. You know, it's a little awkward. And I say, thank you very much. Boom, I go to walk around the house. I come back, I sit down at the kitchen table. Thank you again for having me over. Before I get started, do you have any questions for me? I let them ask any questions that they have. And if they say no questions, or I already answered their question, then I say something to the effect of, I really appreciate you having me over today. I look forward to getting your home on the market and getting it sold. I've got 3 very important questions for you before I start my presentation. Can I go ahead and ask those questions now? And they say, sure. And I say, okay, number 1, do you absolutely have to get this home sold? And hopefully they say yes. And then I say, great. Do you want to price the home to sell, or do you want to price it so that it sits on the market for a long time? And they say, well, we don't want to give it away. And then I'll say something like, if you do want to give it away, sign me up. I'll take it. I understand that. I'm just messing around with you. Of course, we're not going to give it away. We're going to get you the most amount of money possible. And they say, yeah, great. And then I say, would you like me to handle the sale for you? Smiling and shaking my head like this.
Yes.
And then they say, well, it's possible, but we'd like to see your presentation first. And so I say, wonderful. That's what I came here to do. Before I get started on my presentation, I'm going to go ahead and lay all the documents that I brought out on the table. Here's the listing agreement. Here's the seller's disclosure. Here's the